We have just updated this Range Rover Sports from this dated infotainment to this 10.25-inch Full HD wireless CarPlay and the Android Auto unit. Let's check this out. So the first part of the installation is to remove this rubber mat at the back of the car, allowing you to access two 8mm. You have to remove that in order to get the whole back section out. That will allow us to remove this long trim going along the car to the front, which needs to come out in order for the front climate to come out. Now this car in here in specific did not have any climate controls in here. If you did, when this panel is coming out, there would be a few connections behind here that you would have to undo, and then this panel will sit on the side for now. Once you have come to the front of the car, you have to lift up the side armrest and the center one. Once all of that has been lifted up, this panel will just slide up top from here, and then you can slide the whole thing out. As you can see, these clips are straight down, so you can get it up. That should unclip the whole trim, and then you can kind of wiggle it out. Repeat the same thing on the other side so we can have both side trims out, and then we can start undoing the climate control and start getting the big panels for the screen. Now for the next part of the process, this big panel is held on just by clips. You can just kind of get your hand behind and undo the clips. You want to make sure you're using both hands. I'm filming with one, so I can't do that now. So I'm going to put the camera on the side, get my hands behind there. Remember, it's a big panel. Do not put a lot of pressure on one side without doing the other one. So you have to make sure you go evenly throughout the panel. As you can see, this panel was just on clips. You'll see some of these metal speed clips are still inside the car. So what you can do is just push them together, get it out, and you can transplant it back onto the ones that's missing. That way, when you're putting this big panel back together, it's going to fit nice and flush into the car. Now for the next part of the install, you can remove these four 8mm, two on this side, two on the other. This panel will come out. For the screen, to remove the screen, there's two Torx 20 on the left side, and there's two more Torx 20 on the right side of the screen. This whole fascia panel will come out, allowing you to separate your actual buttons, the touch controls from your screen, and then we can remove the screen, start undoing the plugs, and then I'll show you what to do next. Now in order to remove this whole section here, there's two 8mm on this side, two on the other one. This fascia panel will pop out. There's more Torx 20 behind here. For the screen side of the things, there's two Torx 20 on the left, two on the right. This outside cage will come out, allowing you to separate your screen controls apart from your screen. Once everything is undone, we'll start undoing all the connections behind here, and then I'll show you what to do next. Once this plastic trim comes out, there's two connections behind here. One is for your climate control and the other one is for your light strip that runs along here. You can go ahead and undo both of them. This plastic trim will sit on the side, and we'll start undoing the radio. Again, just two Torx 20, and then you can remove all the connections behind there, and then the radio will sit on the side. Start removing the screen, and then we'll go on to the next process. Once you have removed those four Torx 20 and removed the metal case, there's two more Torx 20, one on each side, so one for this, one for this, and then the buttons will separate, allowing you access to remove the screen. Once the metal cage is removed, there's four more Torx 20. You have to remove 1, 2, 3, 4 in order to get these buttons out, separating the buttons from the actual screen, allowing you access to remove the screen. Once you have undone the screw on top and bottom, this can come out, and there's only one connection behind here that you need to remove, and then this will sit on the side. I've already done the other side for now. I'm going to undo this one, and then we'll move on to the next process, which is removing another four Torx 20 and remove the screen and keep it on the side. Now after undoing your screen, there's a few connections behind here, your fiber optics, the power cable, and a few of the other coax cables that you have to get out. They just press tabs, get it out. Your screen is here. We're going to need this screen because we're going to be transplanting things from this screen onto a new screen. Let's check it out. Now before moving on to transplanting things from one screen into the other, it's a good idea to take the radio out. There's only a few connections behind here that you need to undo. It's also going to allow for us to do in our tap-in connections back here. That way when we're putting things back, it's much simpler for us to do. Alright, so now very carefully we're going to start transplanting things from that into a new screen. Let me show you how to do it. Alright, I know it looks a bit chaotic, so all we are trying to do here is get this one open. You need Torx 8 to open that one. The circuit board is held on by a big ribbon cable like that. We're going to take that out, transplant it here, put this cover back. It's just held on by some Phillips screws. Make sure your ribbons are aligning in the right orientation, and that's all we need to focus on here. I don't have a tripod today, so I can't unfortunately record me doing that. However, once I'm done with that, I'll show you what we have done. Once you've undone those four Torx 8, you can see this will come out. This connection is connected here, this ribbon to that. It's just a pry open, and then the ribbon will slide out. Then you can start undoing the rest of the Torxes from here, and then we can transplant it onto the new side. Now we're done with the transplantation of the old circuit board from your old Bosch unit into the new one. Everything is looking nice. The ribbon has been connected underneath. There's only one way the ribbon can go in, so you can't really mess it up. I've taken out the rest of the plastic that's going to be there because it's going to get heated and might melt on here, so you want to make sure you remove that. What I've also done is gone ahead and taped all of the cables, including my main harness and everything, in nice fabric tape. That's going to allow for me to have the quietest and the nicest and the neatest installation. Now for the next part of the install is to install this fascia, the new gloss black, nice looking fascia, onto the original panel. In order to do that, you have to get behind the original big panel. You'll see just small little tabs. You have to break it out and then you can pry the old one out. I use an assortment of these pliers to help me do that. I'm gonna crush them and break it out, and then I can put in the new one and plastic weld it onto the big panel. I'll get started on that, and once I'm done with it, I'll show you how it looks. After prying out for 3 hours, now I'm just kidding. Took me a good 20 minutes to take my time crushing all the tabs behind. Get this out nice and neat. All of the placeholders are still in place. Now what we're going to do is mounting the new one from the back and then plastic weld it at the back. I'm going to start doing that, and once I'm done, I'll show you how it looks. One more thing you have to do is take out this plastic trim from the old fascia, and you have to transplant it onto the new one. Just have a glimpse of that. How good does that look compared to the original one? What I've done at the back is, once all of the clips were aligned with their relative placeholders, I've went ahead and plastic welded them into place. That way they're never gonna fall out. And that's a clean, flush look. Now coming back to the front of the car, we're just doing the plug and play section of the harness now. Everything can only go back in one way. Once all of that is connected, I'll start testing the unit out. I'm gonna put the factory radio back in, test the unit, make sure everything is working. Once that is all done, I'll show you how to mount everything back in place, where I've mounted things, and then we'll go on to the next step. We have put the whole thing back together because I knew it was gonna work. For you guys, it's better to keep it at the testing stage, make sure everything is working, and then you can start putting the panels back. Everything goes back in the same spot. There's a big factory ground behind, which you can use with this green ground cable to ground it back there. Start putting your panels back. Now I've tested for all the sounds and audio. Everything is working. In your case, if this screen is looking all wanky, what you can do is just swipe across from here, and then you have to find a combination of your key template, car mode setting, and your original source until you find the one that looks exactly like how your car looked before. So what I'm going to do now is put in all of the panels back, put everything together, and show you how the whole system works. And with that, the whole car has been put back together. Everything goes back in the reverse order as it came out. Now let's test some music. Let's not get copyrighted. Yep, that's working. Same with audio and calls and everything. Let's turn it up. Let's go. How's the weather today? Perfect. That is the whole system finished and installed. Guys, if you want a system like this in your car, send me an email on info@westernautocustoms.com.au or log on to www.westernautocustoms.com.au and fill in the inquiry form there. Peace.